Hey there, neighbor. Julie Stonefelt coming to you from my homestead in the Snoqualmie Valley of Washington State. Today we are going to talk about putting in a new garden bed. And it's fall, and our big spring and summer project is complete for putting in our first big garden, a vegetable garden. And now we've got some extra supplies and are coming into a couple of weeks of potentially really nice weather. And we thought, let's take advantage of this opportunity and get a little bit more work done. So we're on about 1.2, almost 1.3 acres here, and it's mostly lawn. And our goal is eventually in our master plan to have just lawn walkways surrounded by garden beds and other livestock. And our first piece that we did is over here. And we did this during the spring and summer. We put in this garden, and the landscaping plan is that the beds that are really close to the house, we want to have them seem neat and tidy and organized, and this fencing and very square pattern you can see is part of that plan. And then as we transition towards the wild forest, we're going to change that. And so here you can see the bed that we're putting in today is around this hemlock tree. And we're using all rock that came out of putting in the vegetable garden on the edges to have kind of a nice rustic, rough look, and then beyond is our forest. So again, this bed that we're putting in is using all supplies that are left over from our other projects this season. All the rock came from the earth from our other bed, and we're not taking the grass out, but we're going to use cardboard we've been collecting to put down. You can see our pile of it right here. And then on top of that, we're going to do soil and straw and more soil, and then we're going to be planting crimson clover. And we're going to make this bed kind of around the edge of this native planting. So these are mostly native plants that have been here, and we're going to let them be, and this is a little bit of an experiment. So what I forgot to mention is that this method we're using with putting down the cardboard on the grass and soil is sometimes called sheet mulching or lasagna method gardening. It doesn't mean you're growing things for lasagna, it's just the layers that we put down on the ground. And so you're going to be able to come along with us in this process and see how we do it. All right, so we've got our cardboard laid down in roughly the area that we want it to be, and we've tucked it into the edges of the stones. And now we're going to start covering it with soil, and we're just going to bring it by wheelbarrow, tip it on, and then rake it out smooth. Alright, so you can see that we have covered all of our grass with the cardboard, and we've covered the cardboard with lots of really good soil that we had brought in from a nursery. And now I'm going to broadcast our seed, and we're going to be using crimson clover. It's late fall, and we're in the middle of a pandemic and had a really hard time finding crimson clover, but this company called True Leaf had it, and they got it to me really quickly, and I just loved it. I found a lot of great things there. So that's what we're using, and I'm just going to broadcast it widely. The reason that we're using crimson clover is that it's a really good nitrogen fixer, which means it's going to help to boost the soil for growth. It's going to also do really well in the shade of this big hemlock we have here. And where we are right now, it gets into the low 20s. Sometimes it snows, sometimes it doesn't. And this does really well in the cold, damp weather. The final reason I'm using it in this bed is that I'm not entirely sure what the final planting is going to be. We know we're going to want to do some herbs, but I'm not sure what those are going to be, and I'm not sure when we're going to plant them. And the crimson clover in the spring and summer will create these really beautiful flower heads that are great for pollinators. So I know that I can leave it in place, and this is going to be taking care of this bed regardless of when I'm able to get to it. So I've got a pound here. The pound should cover this spacing just fine. There's no particular science or art to the way that I do this. Lots of people have their own particular opinions, but I just like to broadcast it by hand. I think of it almost like seasoning your soup or seasoning meat for the grill. Just do it. It's really nice with this because the seed is very light colored and the soil's very dark, so I can make sure I've got it well. So I'm going to go ahead and finish seeding this, and then we'll come back through with a nice light layer of soil and straw. Alright, so here we have the finished product. We did the sheet mulching with the cardboard and the soil. We put our seed, and then we put about a ½ inch of soil on top of that. And then we did some old straw just to help create a nice thick layer of mulch on top. We're going to come in and water this really deeply today, and then as necessary until the seeds start to emerge and get established on their own. And then this will carry us through the next couple of seasons of the rest of fall, winter, into spring. And then we should have a really nice established bed that we can continue to keep in the crimson clover for beauty and pollinators, or we can come in and cut that down for crimson clover to be a green manure and plant something else. But this is a quick and simple way that you can establish a garden bed at your home. Thanks for watching.